Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ben's Camera Show. My name is Ben Slotover, and I will be talking cameras today. And how have you all been? In a slight departure tonight from my usual retro kind of Super 8 style, my Super 8 preference, you could say. We're going to go with some very, very, very sophisticated and expensive camera tonight. That's right. We have a, well, you'll see it in a minute, but we're going from the very retro, the very low tech, to the very, very high tech tonight. This tonight is the last of this mini series, this mini run of the camera show. We shall be let's get rid of that. I'll be going dark, so it's like very theatrical speak there. No, I will be taking a little break after this arduous run of 4 shows. I have a lot going on at the moment, which is basically house turned upside down and things going on professionally and stuff, which, well, I don't have enough material as well for to just crank these things out every week. I generally only plan a run of camera shows when I have a massed amount of interesting stuff to show everyone, because as I've said before, and as I'm going to say again, I don't want to be beholden to a schedule that forces me just to crank stuff out for the sake of the schedule. That's why I don't have a Patreon. I don't want to have to be in hock to people paying me, so I crank out some low quality crap. That is the direction of low quality, and I refuse to take it. Having said that, tonight I have a sponsor of sorts. A sort of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of thing, which will come up later. It's not really a money sponsor because I think they don't believe in paying, but maybe not yet. There might be something for me on the back end. We'll see. Very cryptic there. Anyway, I will be getting onto that later. But firstly, what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, as you may have seen from behind me here, in fact, let me get into my little box here. Boing, and let's see what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about this. Oh my God, look at that. What the heck is that? And this. Well, it's the same thing. It's the same camera body. This is a Sony FX9. It is a 4K camcorder and a very, very serious piece of kit. I do not own one. But for a few days earlier this year, I was allowed to touch one and play with it for about 2 hours. And of that, I, of course, recorded a little review and tester session for you lovely people. So I'm going to play that. I'm going to play the recorded review and demonstration of this beauty. And to do that, firstly, I have to go up into my viewers box up here. Whoop, okay. Because past me is going to be talking and going to be occupying the bottom box. So if you see 2 of me, one on top of the other, the top one is the live one, and the bottom one is me a few months ago talking about the camera over there. Okay, are we all on the same page? Do we get this? Right, let's do this. The Sony FX9, and we will be seeing footage from it later. All right, so take it away. Me a few months ago, and I may even correct myself once or twice. So goodbye from me, and hello. I've got a monster to show you today. It doesn't belong to me, it belongs to a rental house, but I've only got it for today. So while I've got it, I want to get it out and show you. Say hello to this little bastard. Oh my God. Whoa. Big leagues now. We're in the big time. This is the Sony FX9, a 4K camcorder. I guess you'd insult it by calling it a camcorder. It's basically an entire studio on your shoulder, and it is a beast. And it takes amazing video, as well, we'll be able to see in a minute. At least I assume it takes amazing
Watch out for the mic.
Because this bastard costs £10,000. Oh, whoops.
Very funny.
Anyway, yes, it costs 10 grand, and it is basically a
Stop brushing the mic, you fool!
camera on steroids. It's a full frame camera, which means the sensor is as large as an entire width of a 35mm. I can't even hold it up for very long.
Don't milk it.
Anyway, we'll have a quick close look at it with the secondary camera because, damn, it's heavy. Let's have a look. I'll get into my little box on the side. There I go. Oh, here I come.
Hello, downstairs neighbour.
And here we go. Boom! Wow, what a monster! And what loads of buttons on it and stuff. Yes, no touch screen or anything here. We've got the actual buttons on the camera, as we can see here. Now, shall we zoom in on a bit, just so we can, I mean, where do we even start? Well, let's start with the lens. It's a nice lens. It's a Sony, God knows what it's called. I think it's called a Sony motherfucker.
Language!
In
anyway,
terms of
I did the
exposure,
research and I put it down there.
it seems to go automatic and then straight to f4. So it only starts at f4, so it's a little light hungry. And then all the way up to f22. You got the option of a power zoom, the usual stuff here. And here's our focus here, though it does have peaking, which is very nice. Very, very easy to focus with this thing.
What's the closest on the focus, Ben?
Moving over to...
no, was it 1 meter?
Oh my God. Well, let's break it down a little, shall we? So it looks like here, whoa, here are, this little box here are audio controls with a thing up there, so to keep them from accidentally getting knocked around. And on this side are some very important buttons. These ones numbered 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. They're user programmable buttons, very handy.
Don't scratch
Number
that.
7 has been programmed with something interesting. Now here we can put the neutral density filter on, automatic, variable ND. Oh, I like that. The as a status button, in case you want to see what your status is. Here's auto, manual, iris, focus, white balance. It's all quite self-explanatory. Shutter, shutter speed. I want to play around with that. Low, medium, and high. Is that gain or is that focus?
It's gain.
Focus, zoom speed. I'm not sure.
It's gain.
Presets. I reckon that's gain. Yeah, it's gain. ISO gain there. So yeah, although it's a real beast and a monster of a camera, the actual functions on it are not difficult to get to grips with. And here, of course, you've got your menu navigation over here. Thumbnail, it says menu display. I guess that'll put your information display on there. Here at the back, this is where the cassette used to go, and they've kept the same kind of design by. Pop, there are the. Here are your. Oops. Here are your cards. Your solid state cards. Wow, it's an XQD card. This one has 120 gigabytes on it, which will get you at least 5 minutes of 4K shooting.
Bit more than that.
Of course, it'll get you 10 minutes.
There we go. 44 minutes.
2 cards. Nice. So let's look on the other side of it. Excuse me. Oh, right. Here we see the actual model number here. PXW FX9V. Solid state memory camcorder, they say. So let's look at what's all this on the side here, on this side. Okay, so we've got our input selector here, whether we want to put in a line input or a mic input. There are some proper full-size XLR inputs here. Nice. What about on this side? What's this? TC out, TC in. That would be our time code right there. Genlock. Oh, it's got everything. Genlock, I believe, is when you want to film a flickering screen and you don't want the flickering. It will actually lock the time, not the time code. It'll lock your frame rate to the screen you're filming, or it'll slow down the screen you're filming to the frame rate. It's to do with that. I only know about that stuff because I used to do it professionally. So what is this? Something plugged in here. So this thing plugged in here, down this little cable here. It's a pistol grip controller here. So you put your hand through it like this, and then you can operate all the stuff you need to with your fingers and thumb here. So we've got zoom, forward and back. It says focus mag there, but this is number 4. So I don't know if that's a user programmable button there, number 4, or not. So here's another button, number 5.
Great research there, Ben.
Number 4. These may be user programmable buttons, or they may be for focus and direct menu. I don't know. There's your record button.
You don't know much.
This thing here, not sure. It's a strange thing here. It's just a kind of it's just a knobbly bit. I'm not sure if it does anything if you push it. It might be a lock for the zoom. I don't know. So here's the zoom, and there's that. And
I think it's menu navigation.
Button here, some sort of wiggly button. It might be to go into the menu. If you hit that to start the menu, and this to navigate, maybe. I don't know. So let's get it up on the shoulder and see what we can do with it. Yeah. Oh.
All right, don't milk it. Come on, you big.
So you put your hand through there. Hold on to it like that. Up here, there's your. We can work the controls here. Rest it on shoulder. Put this bit in the eye, although it comes up as well. It comes up and it comes off. How do we get it off? There we go. So you can look just in a screen like that. Oh yeah, the on-off button is down here. Switch it on. So you can look at this. You can do it by looking at the screen here, or you can put this down and put your eye up to it.
I couldn't see shit without my glasses.
I'll show you what the display looks like as well. But I'll point it over here so it's something to look at while I'm looking at the display. Oh. So this is what the viewfinder looks like. And we can get it into 2 modes, highlight and none. Let's zoom in a bit and see what it looks like. And here's the screen, and here's all the stuff on the screen, all the different settings and all the different settings and stuff, and all the information you can see on the screen. There's a lot of it there. Not all of it is relevant to what you're shooting, but it's all useful info. So, oh yeah, and there's also this zebra. You can choose the zebra stripes if you're overexposed. Let's put the zebras on. Huh, okay, didn't make any difference. Oh, well, never mind. It's also got this.
It's for focusing.
You can see how well you're focused in by the peaking. And it's got little.
See in the background there, you can see it better.
I'll get it better. Anyway, so that's all we're going to show you of the exterior of the camera. Let's see some footage that it shot, some proper 4K.
Oh, and there we go. There we're back to live me. Well, thank you, recorded me. Oh, some people in the house. Old Radios is here saying my town's parade and classic car show. He's going to film those. Excellent. Yes, good stuff. So, yeah, let's have a look. Well, firstly, let's just have a look at how much one of these is going to cost you if you were to buy it. Let's have a look on the eBay. Shall we? £10,054. That's for a brand new one from Japan. 9,454. That's also body only. That's without even the lens. 7,000. Just $2,000 for the back. I mean, this is some pricey camera, but you do get a lot of gun for your camera. Let's have a look at how much these were sold for recently. Here we go. And a second-hand one went for 9,420.69. Someone bid 9,420.69. That cannot be accidental. 7,453. Yeah. What about the lens? That lens I was looking at, it turns out to be this one, a very nice 28 to 135 millimeter f4G OSS. They go for the lens alone is being sold for £1,500. Whoa! Let's see if there's how much sold they actually were sold for, not just how much someone's asking for them. Yeah, 1,400, 1,800. This one went for. Good lord! Yeah, as usual, the lenses are extremely expensive, and decent camera. But let's have a look at some actual footage that was shot on this thing. And what I thought I'd do is not only have show you footage from this Sony FX9, but to show you where have I gone? To show you it compared to some other cameras. So I went and did a mega test. I did a digital and analog mega test of cameras, and we're going to see how they look amongst other things. Let's have a look. A ton of cash. A ton. Oh, very funny, Remjet. Yes, a ton of cash. Oh, very funny. All right. Quiet in the back there. Let's have a look at some footage from the FX9. Now, I should say something about this footage before we let it run. And that is that this was shot in log mode. I need to tell you a couple of things about log mode. Log mode is shooting without any effects applied in camera, just taking the maximum amount of information possible, because footage shot in log mode can be taken in and post-processed in out back, often using something called LUTs, which are look-up tables, which is color and brightness and contrast information that you can apply to the log footage. So if this Sony FX9 footage looks kind of flat and low contrast, it is designed to shoot that way, right? So with that in mind, let's carry on. In fact, look at this. Let's zoom in on this. This is so high quality footage that if we zoom in, I've got a special zoom in thing. Look, that's like about 1/20th of the screen. See, that's zoomed in all the way to just there, and it still looks all right. It's still, I mean, it's a bit more fuzzy, but it's as good as it's as good as old style standard definition. Now, same street, okay, albeit on a sunnier day, shot on a Canon 700D DSLR, which is the camera I've been using all the way through these camera shows to film my projections and stuff. So yeah, that's the equivalent. Now, see, the Canon, because the Canon 700D is more of a consumer or a prosumer camera, the brightness, contrast, all of the stuff you find in a lookup table is done in camera, and that's what the earlier DSLR cameras were capable of making footage that you could watch straight away and edit straight away. They didn't expect you to do a bunch of post-processing. So the footage looked good straight out of the camera. So here's the Canon 700D, which was shot, I think, at 1080, 1K, basically, like quarter of the resolution of the Sony. And now this was shot on, I thought, just to see, let's put some phone footage in there. Also shot at 1080 and 1290, but with a crapper lens, as you can see. Obviously, the Motorola. I mean, this is no iPhone. This Motorola. The best thing about that Motorola is basically the battery life, not how amazing the camera is. I mean, a good iPhone 13 will give you some serious contender for that Sony. Hey, and here we go with Super 8. You didn't think at least one show would be free of Super 8. So yeah, this was shot on Kodak 200T on a Canon 814 auto zoom. Very good camera, very nice lens, a good stock as well. And this was a very professional transfer as well. I got it on 8mm. If we zoom in, you can see where, well, there, Super 8. I mean, that's the kind of grain, both analog and digital, that we're talking about with Super 8. Let's zoom out again. But Super 8 just looks great, It's slightly fuzzier. Right, we're back to the FX9. And let's compare that with the DSLR. Come on. There we go. Oh, that's compared to the Motorola phone. And there's the DSLR. Now, what I did actually, I did some post-processing correction on the DSLR because it looks very blue like this. So the other side, there we go. That's with some post-processing, the Canon 700D. You know, you can get the blue out of it. You can do some post-processing. If I were to zoom in here, yeah, you'd come up against the pixels. You can actually sort of see the graininess from the pixels there. What's next? Oh, same shot from Super 8, because why not? You know, I mean, we're talking, the grain is pretty rough compared to the pixels of a digital, but you know, Super 8's got its own lovely style. So Canon 700D, Sony FX9. There you go. There you can see the. Let's have a look at the zoom in there. Okay, so this is zoomed in the Canon 700D. Because that's where you can really tell the difference between 2K and 4K and 1K. It's when you just take a portion of the picture and zoom it right up. Okay, so this is basically, you know, a square, like very small in the middle of the screen, zoomed up on the 2K camera, on the 1K camera, and there we go. That's 4K, zoomed all the way in. So you can get amazing digital zooms with this 4K stuff. You know, I can't even see the digital grain here. Let's carry on. So Sony Canon again, Canon 700D, and here's the FX9. Whoa, in log form as well. So you know we're gonna apply some filters to actually do something with here. Right, here's my son Sam in the hallway, and that's done on a Motorola phone. Very high contrast, very poor dynamic range, and incredible grain. And there we go with the FX9. Now. Here we go. This has been graded here with the Dehancer plugin, which is my sort of sponsor for tonight. They have asked me to review this thing, see if it's any good. They're not paying me, but I told them if I don't like it, I will say so honestly, and they said, fine, we just want to hear what you say about it. So here's on the right-hand side is the footage from the Sony FX9, and on the left-hand side, this is the footage that has been graded with the plugin after the fact. So you can see, you know, it does look a lot nicer. You see, this particular plugin is supposed to be a film emulation plugin, and you know, normally I thought film emulation, you know, why not just shoot on film? But I can see the practical benefits of grading, for shooting on video and then grading afterwards. I mean, it looks better already than the log footage, but no one's going to watch the log footage anyway. So this is supposed to be like a film, and here's some more log footage, which I'll attempt to grade live in here on the show. You know, I mean, say what you will about film emulation, and they do say it. Well, we'll see what we say about it later. So again, here's some footage from the Canon 700D. Very, I probably didn't get the white balance right, to be honest on that. Old Radio says, I saw this French movie shot on Super 8 yesterday. Hello, Stas Vlad. Good evening. This is Stozov Vladimir. Hello there, Vladimir. How are you doing? FX9 again. Yep. Very fine-grained, very professional, and to be honest, when you've got a lot more footage to begin with, when you've got a lot more information in the picture, then grading becomes a lot easier and a lot more effective. Here we go with some nice garden footage. We're going to compare DSLR to Super 8 here. And it's a matter of taste, really. DSLR, you know, it's a very accurate picture, not huge dynamic range. Some of the highlights are getting blown out slightly there. That's probably my fault. Let's compare that to a bit of Super 8. The same shot, same angle. Come on, get on with it. Ed did this, so I didn't really watch it all through. Here we go. Super 8. I see that it's just like sort of, okay, it's a bit more grainy, but it is just extra loveliness, really. I mean, it's apples and oranges. It's hard to compare the two. There's just such a different feel. It's not just a different look, it's a different feel. But what the plugin I told you about earlier is trying to do is to replicate that feel of film using video. And, you know, I've seen some plugins that have been crap. I've seen some which have been okay. I've never seen one that's absolutely nailed it, but maybe we'll see later here. So here we go, some more Canon, some more Kodak 200T. Okay, now this is interesting. I'm going to pause this right here. Okay, what I've done here is I've overlaid, so you can really compare them properly. I've overlaid a Super 8 shot in the same room that, to be honest, has had a bit of post-processing done to it. But some Super 8 200T, and on the left-hand side is the Sony FX9 with the Dehancer plugin that's supposed to replicate film. So we can actually see side by side how film and video with the plugin look. And I did my best to try and make them equivalent. And it's a very interesting way to compare them here. Different times a year. I mean, to be honest, the video was taken on a much darker and grayer day, so the Dehancer plugin does a pretty good job there of doing injecting a bit of film feel to it. Let's have a last look here. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think in the comments? Tell me in the comments what you think, whether this thing does an okay job of replicating the look of film. It's really hard because it's like, you know, well, let's have a look to see. Okay, so that's with it off and that's with it on. Set to, you can choose your camera here. And I've chosen the Sony. It says it only goes down to Sony FX6, but I'm using the FX9. I think that's close enough. And here you select the film stock that you want to emulate. You can choose all of these ones: Fuji and Ilford and Kodak and all the rest of it. Here I've tried Kodak Ektachrome E100, but for example, if I put it onto Fuji Chrome, see, different palettes, different color palette there. Let's have a look at another one. Let's have a look at another film thing here. So Agfa color. Oh, I've used a lot of Agfa. Expired 1991. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, if I developed some Agfa that looked like that, I'd be really quite happy. Let's try a Kodak. Let's try a Kodak Vision 3 200T, a classic. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to compare it to some 200T later on. Let's see what else. See that's you know, you can also add some things here like film compression, color head. Now that's useful. That's basically a color correction thing where you can actually manipulate the dial separately. I'll be talking about that later. I found a very good use for that. Let's disable that. You can choose your film grain. Now, film grain is a very important part of trying to make video look like film. Some plugins, all they do is they put a kind of like just some fuzzy digital grain on top of your picture. Now, Dehancer say that their film grain is actually based on the underlying picture itself. So they hope that that's going to make it look even more filmic. So let's switch on the film grain and see what happens. Well, that's not very much grain. Let's make the size of it more. There we go. See, that's some proper big grain right there. Let's try. Is that grainy? Yeah, I guess it is. But you can choose the amount of grain as well. So you can, whoa, you can make it super grainy. There we go. It's a bit too grainy, I think. Yeah, so let's dial back the grain slightly. Here, you can just dial that back. I mean, God, I wish actual film was like this, but you know, you can't really. Yeah. If you wanted to buy. So you have film resolution. What else have you got? You've got halation. You can mess around with halation, where you can basically create fake halation. Let's see. Oh, I didn't enable it. Oh, I think I went to. Here we go. So that's with a lot of halation. Oh, I don't know. And that's without. You can change the bloom, which is basically a kind of effect. If I play it, it's effect you get around lights. Let's try a different piece of footage to do the bloom with. Let's try. Let's try this piece of. Let's try this right here. Oh, that's the Canon. Oh no, we don't want that. No, let's stick with this one. So you can also choose to color head. Did I mention that? I think I mentioned that when the sound was off. You can actually do manual moving around of your color values, and you can do stuff like, oh god, there's a lot. Gate weave, film breadth. You can do, oh my god, there's a lot. I mean, I'll just apply everything. Let's just film the film grain, the film effect, the whole lot. So that's with everything there. Oh, there's some serious halation around the outside there, and grain and everything else.
If you wanted to buy it, it's best to rent them.
Old Radio says tired from work. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So there's the Dehancer plugin. Now, the interesting part of this is not so much that it's able to make video look like film. And I could be here all evening showing you all the different things that you can do to make your video look like film. You see, I don't happen to have a lot of situations where I need to make I shoot on video and want it to look like film. I grant that a lot of people have that look. If you're making a serious film and you want it to grade it so it looks more film-like, I totally understand. 44 minutes on Sony FX9 is a lot easier, it's a lot cheaper than 44 minutes worth of film reels. So I get it, budget-wise, you want to shoot on video and make it look like film. But color correction software and plugins that I use very often are more to do with making bad developments of film look a bit better. So we're talking regular color correction there. With film, I wanted to see whether I could take film and not make it look like video, play the whole plugin backwards, that would be ridiculous, but to make the film look a bit better. So I've got some footage here which for one reason or another, like bad scanning or indifferent development, or just expired film that looks a bit crap. I've got various footage here which I want to make it look better, and I wondered if the Dehancer plugin could do that. So here's some very blue footage that my daughter shot in Vienna. Oh god, I forgot to ask if I could use this footage. Sorry, Lily. So yeah, it came out very blue. This is an expired film, and I wanted to see if I could use the Dehancer footage plugin to get rid of some of this like blue cast over it. So I went in advance and actually did some Dehancer mucking around, and I got it to go from this to this. See, before, afterwards, it got rid of a lot of that blueness, that blue. There's still a lot of blue in there, but it definitely took some of that. It brought out some of those other colours. So look great. So again, that's with the Dehancer plugin. That's without. I'm not using this for the purpose for which it was designed. I'm using it to clean up the colours in shitty developments. But hey, if it's useful, it's useful. So that's that footage. What have we got here? Right. Okay. Right. This was the old footage. I showed this on a show before. This is the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, just before she popped it. Now this is without the Dehancer. Oh dear. See, I unfortunately I kind of overexposed or underdeveloped, or possibly both, some very old AGFA footage, AGFA stock, and this is without any of the plugin. Yeah, it's all a bit drained, a bit overexposed, a bit desaturated looking. So then, after applying the Dehancer plugin, oh, I forgot. Dun, 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 dun. Graded with Dehancer. And here's the after. There's one I tried, and here's the other. Yeah, you can see a lot more. I definitely turned down the graininess because, my God, this thing is grainy enough as it is. So this is, again, this is after, and that's before. Took some of that that whiteness out of it. Let's try that again with this one. Grade it. Here we go. Before, after. Hey, you can. I mean, okay, yeah, the colours are messed up. I didn't have a lot of time to do any fine tuning of this, but you can see how it has improved the general overexposure there. Before, no, that was after. Let's see how this one looks. Before, after. Oh my God, it's very green. I'll have to do something about that. Old Radio says blue agfa fading. Yeah, I had to process the crap out of it. I mean, post process. That's with the plugin, without. With see. Luckily there were lots of Union Jacks everywhere, so I could get a good color balance reading on that. With the plugin, without the plugin. See? And with the plugin again. This is without the plugin. With the plugin. So yeah, it actually did do a job. This is some nice footage. I know I've shown this before, but they had these smoke bombs. So that's without. Yeah, I do think I bear some responsibility. I think I overexposed it. But you can do a lot in the post. Remjet says, do you develop C41 yourself? Not C41, but I do ECN2, which I did all this in. I did it as a negative in Agfa. And in Agfa, in ECN2. Well, now, what have we got here? Right, here we've got some footage, which is actually, it barely needs any grading. It turned out all right. But just to take that kind of green kind of cast off it, I used the Dehancer plugin, and that's without, that's with. So I just got rid of some of the contrast. I mean, I upped the contrast. That's with the plugin. That's without. With the plugin. Oh boy, I'm sure I could have got better if I'd spent a bit more time on it. So that's without the plugin and with. And finally, here's the shots of the kitchen that you've all seen before. Old Radio says good stock footage for documentaries and music videos. For which one? Good stock footage is a nice thing to say about footage that didn't turn out quite right, but this looks all right. Yeah, that's with the Dehancer. So that's without, and that's with. So I've discovered a use for this thing, even if I don't have video that I want to look like film. Usually when I shoot video, I want it to look like video, but I'll give it a go from now on. Now here's something interesting, right? I decided to throw a real curveball. This is the last of the footage, which is this. I managed to film with my standard 8 camera this, and I managed to put it through twice because I'm an idiot. I double exposed it, and after developing, it ends up looking like crap. It looks like it's been through a blue wash. So I thought, right, let's see what the Dehancer manages to do with this. And here is what it did. Big improvement. Still looks kind of greenish, but this was just using the. This is just after I don't know, 15, 20 minutes of messing about. So again, this is off with the plugin, without, without. I'm sure we can see what's better. Actually, I quite like the double exposure. I filmed records and someone playing the cello completely by accident. So that's without, with. It looks like utter rubbish, that one. So yeah, now you're probably wondering, well, what do you usually use? What do I usually use before I tried out this Dehancer plugin? Well, I usually use my Lumetri color plugin, which is on Premiere. So let's have a look at what Lumetri looks. That's on the right hand side there. I'm not sure if it looks any better. This was me basically trying to, hang on, let's get the so that's with the Lumetri plugin. Try and make the picture look a bit better than it did before. So that's what it did before, and this is what I used trying to correct it. So it actually looks a bit kind of washed out and junky. Not all that nice, but desaturated. I don't know. And let's see split screen with the Dehancer. So it's Dehancer on the left. Let's go back a bit. It's Dehancer on the left, Lumetri on the right, given an absolute dog of a piece of footage. Yeah, looks cool, says already. Yeah, it does, yes. I know, the double. So yeah, here we go. So yeah, I mean, the Dehancer's crisper and it's got a bit better contrast. And arguably, if I spent hours, I could get them looking the same. So it's double exposed and double post produced as well. So I think on balance, the Lumetri's done the Dehancer on the left has actually done a bit of a better job than the Lumetri, which I'm surprised about. I didn't think to use this film effect plugin to actually do film post production on film. And I'm pretty sure the makers of it didn't intend for that either. But hey, if it's useful, why not? And finally, what have we got? We've got some footage here. Oh yeah, here was just some developing footage and some camera exposure tests that I did. Let's put the Have I got the plugin on this? I think this is with the Dehancer plugin. Yes. So without the plugin, it was like this, very blue. And with much better. These are different f-stops, by the way, so the camera's wide open there, and different developments as well. Oh, I love doing tests. So here's not much. Here's undeveloped, underdeveloped, and here is just about right, I'd say, and exposed. I can't even remember what footage, what film stock I was using here, but there you go. Anyway, right. Cecil DeVille is here, saying hi all. Hi Cecil. Or Cecil. So yes, on the whole, what am I verdict with this plugin? Well, before I give you my verdict, let me just tell you once again that you can get it from dehancer.com if you've got DaVinci or Premiere, and they also make the iOS app version. You can get 10% off if you use my promo code BENS Camera Show. Enough of that. So what is my opinion about this? It's a useful tool. I'll tell you, I'll say. At one point, I'm not really, I did so much post-production with the plugin and with the film, and especially with stuff like this. I just got completely, I got down a rabbit hole, and I wasn't really sure yet in the end whether I was working on film or video. I did so much post-prod of the film and of the video using all different types of plugins that I wasn't even sure anymore what the difference was between film and video. So, when you get really deep into these post-production plugins and everything, at some point you just think, well, that looks nice. You don't think, well, that looks just like film. That's just how I like it. You think, I like that, if you see what I mean. So in the end, it's a useful tool if you just want to do some interesting things to your footage. Whether or not it looks like film, I've worked with film too closely for too long to really be fooled by a plugin. It looks, the footage is too kind of perfect, if you see what I mean. It looks like very, very nicely corrected video rather than film. And that's really no insult on video. Okay, to someone who doesn't know the difference between film and video, they won't even care. They will see a nicely corrected, even if it's got the film effects on it, they won't think, oh, it's got film effects on it. They'll be watching the story, and they'll appreciate the color palette that you've used. And in that case, in that respect, you do that with film post production as well as video post production. So would I recommend it? yeah, I would, if you're serious into making films and you don't shoot on film and you want an extra tool to mess around with your footage and to give it a look that looks good. I won't say it'll exactly look like film, because if a plug-in and a computer could absolutely completely replicate the look and feel of film, then people wouldn't be filming on film anymore. And that goes for not all of us, not just Tarantino and Chris Nolan. So yes, I would recommend it. I don't know if it's worth the money to you or not. Depends on how much money you've got to spend on this. If you're a production house, sure, go ahead and get it. It's going to be another tool for your arsenal. And with that, I think that's the end of the of the big time 4K testing with all of this, all of these different amazing cameras. You know, they've all got their charms, all got their usefulness. The Sony FX9, definitely, you know, you want to go pro, you want it to show on big screens in cinemas, rent the FX9. If you buy it, you better have 12,000 quid for the camera and the lens. Otherwise, get a Canon 700D and correct the footage, which we can see here. And, you know, if you're going to put it online on YouTube, then you might as well just get something a bit cheaper than the Sony. If you're going to make a whole documentary like my friend Herbert Hunger did, that's how I got this video, then go ahead, rent the AX9. If you got the money for the plug-in, go ahead and get that too. We've gone very pro today, and it's time to go back now to the screening room for the... Whoops, not for that. We've done that. We're going to have the film show at the end. Yes, we're going back on to wonderful standard 8 for tonight's film show. And for that, I will need to switch off the light, otherwise it'll be drowned out. Right. Okay. What have we got tonight? Well, let's have a look. This was the continuation from last week's. And it's